was new.
Remember when Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters was #1 at the box office? Well, you probably don't because you just watched a film about a lovesick zombie or a hilarious identity thief. But Hansel and Gretel is still relevant because it is yet another entry in this current trend of dark live-action films reimagining classic fairy tales. We had Red Riding Hood and Snow White and the Huntsman in the theaters. And the films just keep coming. Jack the Giant Slayer will be released in March, and there are already other adaptations floating around in Hollywood. Now, fairy tale films are nothing new, but why are so many of them popping up now? Disney's no longer doing those musical fairy tales like it used to, but that's old news. More recently, the Harry Potter movies, those successful fantasy blockbusters that bridge the gap between children and adult cinema, have finished their run. Something has to fill in this profitable gap, so why not turn to the ever-beloved fairy tales? The bare, flexible, and public domain story is already there. You just have to update it for today's desensitized audience. So, live-action adaptations like Hansel and Gretel are instant classics, right?
Gotta be kidding me.
Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters is not a classic. It's not even good. Unlike the other middling fairy tale adaptations, this film is in a severe identity crisis. Is it serious? Is it a parody? Well, you'll probably laugh at the movie's desperate attempts to be edgy. Oh yeah, the story. So, Witch Hunters Hansel, played by Jeremy Renner, and Gretel, played by Gemma Arterton, face their biggest challenge yet when witches begin stealing lots of children from a single village. It turns out that the witch Muriel, played by Famke Janssen, is behind it all. The duo must stop her and, along the way, discover the secrets behind their traumatic past. A fairy tale adaptation should succeed in 2 areas, if nothing else: set design and music. And honestly, in the beginning, the film has these 2 elements down. For instance, little Hansel and Gretel approach a candy house, designed with sweets and teeth, that looks like something Guillermo del Toro would have dreamed up. I mean, nightmared up. And the score starts with some decent ghostly female vocals, violins, and harps. And then my hopes plummet. Atmospheric settings give way to generic villages, the electric guitar grinds through the soundtrack, and then the movie whiplashes between clumsy comedy and dull drama. Only the gratuitous violence links together all these elements. Hansel and Gretel is yet another updated fairy tale that equates maturity with violence, sex, profanity, but nothing else. But what we should expect from Jack the Giant Killer and other upcoming fairy tale films is an understanding that more adult doesn't mean only more blood splatter, more swearing, and more sexy time. I know that the original tales had all that, but we're talking about feature-length films, not stories that you can read under half an hour. If we're going to experience a fairy tale flick for more than 60 minutes, we should expect to see some substance that matches its dark excesses. So how are these fairy tale films supposed to learn how to do that? Well, by looking at retooled superhero films. But actually, fairy tales and superheroes have experienced a longevity that has translated into many incarnations over the years. Take a look at the Batman trilogy of films, for example. Emerging from the character's pulpy origins and its descent into camp,
Let's kick some ice.
the current films are dark, violent, and very flawed, but still have something to say about how complicated human beings handle an unjust world. Superheroes are timeless, and so are the much, much older fairy tales. Fairy tales deserve a proper, mature reimagining. Besides, don't you want to see Cinderella become a vigilante and fight evil step-parents?